give Clemson a lot of credit. I thought they played really well today. Us, on the other hand, I didn't think it was one of our days. I just obviously, what I talked about with the team was a couple things. Wake Forest first half, I didn't think we did a great job of defending. We outscored those guys, so we had 52 points at the half, but gave up 46. And then I thought we did an awful job defending against Clemson. Giving up 54 points in the half. We fought, and I think that's not a surprise to anyone now about this team. We're going to fight, but you put yourself in a really tough hole when you give up that many points in the first half. So disappointed. This team has been really good all year long. We've had a couple games where I didn't think we defended. One of them was tonight. The other thing is we look a little bit like we didn't have the same pop that we normally have, and when you can't rely on your defense to get stops, I thought we did a better job in the second half scoring the basketball. First half we didn't, and then obviously it was just an uphill battle from that point on. So we will have to learn from it. The fortunate thing, we've been on the other end of it where we played well and we were able to score and we defended, but today wasn't our day. So we got to get better. As a coach, that's completely on me. I'll have them ready to play and get better defensively, and we'll take the next step that we need to. Questions?
This team's been so good at having pop. You've been in a lot of letdown spots. Is there a clear reason you could see why maybe they didn't have it today?
Well, it's so hard when you're playing catch up, and we've been behind, but we've never been behind at that deficit, and because we didn't defend and we counted the game got away from us. I thought we had moments where we chipped away in the second half, but it was such a you would make a 5-6-0 run and you're still down by a lot, and so psychological that bothers you a little bit. Not worried about our guys. It was a tough game for us, and if we can figure out how to learn from this, we'll move on.
Obviously, I know it's something you have to look back through film, but did you see anything from the defense in the first half and this one in the first half against Wake that you feel like needs to change?
Well, we haven't guarded, and part of this, let me say this, is the two teams that we played in the first half, they've shot the hell out of the basketball, really shot it well, and we haven't done a good job of defending. You look at these guys, they really came on, they shot the ball very well. They shot the ball, Wake shot the ball very well, and obviously it put us in a deficit. We've been one of the best three-point defense defending team in the conference, and the last two games, those guys have really shot the basketball, especially in the first half. Yeah.
So, Coach, when it's games where for the other team it just feels like the basket is bigger than yours, and you guys aren't defending well, just where do you go moving forward for the team where they can try to turn around and get stops defensively?
No, we just got to be selfish. I mean, we have to, we talk about making a miss. We have to, the best way to keep guys from scoring the basketball is you can't let them have the basketball, especially when you get some guys from a hot hand. And you look at Brevin Galloway, he was really hot coming out of the stretch, and it seemed like everybody on their team made a three from us, and it put us in a tough situation. Like, we've done a really good job. Like, this particular team has done a great job of really defending the three-point line, and it hasn't happened the way I wanted to, especially in the first two halves of Wake and Clemson. So.
What about Clemson's defense do you think gives Turquoise Young Smith such shoulders?
Well, I think they gap you, and they do a good job. And when you're playing against a Clemson team, you have to be able to create a shot for someone else. It's hard. We have two guards that really can break you down, and they really can score the basketball because they can break you down. But you also have to be a willing passer, and it's only a second pass that you got because they sit in gaps, and you may have a little segment to make that pass, or one or two dribbles to make the pass. But if you dribble over that, you're playing against 3 or 4 guys in the gaps and everything else. And if you don't spray the ball right away, then you don't get shots. If you do, you'll get shots. And it's tough with guys like those two guys because they're really good at breaking you down and getting into the paint and really creating for themselves.
You guys said they're just going to flush this game. They know they're a good team, but does that, from a coaching standpoint, does that kind of make you feel good? It's not going to shake these guys.
No, we've had a great year, and if I didn't declare that we were going to win a national championship after we played well early this year too. So I'm never going to declare that the season's over. It's a tough game. I don't like it. I'm sure they don't like it, and I'm glad they feel that way. But you know, we have to move past it, and we got to figure it out. You know, that's what it is. One thing I will say about this team, we haven't gotten too high or too low, and you know, we've been able to look at the games for what they are, and we had to figure it out. And Clemson was better than us today. They were better than us.
From your perspective, Coach, would you say the sluggishness that's going on defense right now is more energy or just more lack of execution with your defensive scheme?
I think it's a combination. I don't think it has anything to do with our energy. You know, we played against what we call a really good shooter, Green, and we haven't defended greens in the right way. So the 3-point line has become a great weapon. And when you don't defend the 3-point line, you know, it really puts a lot of pressure on you. And we just haven't done that. You know, those 2 games, I think we ended up giving up 12 against Wake, and I don't know, what did they made 10 tonight, and most of them in the first half. And you know, it's in the second half we've done a really good job of, you know, breaking down. Not an effort thing. You know, I don't worry about effort with these guys because these guys have played great, and you know, we won 22 games and 12 conference games, so it hasn't had anything to do with effort. It's just on a couple of nights I thought we didn't defend the 3-point line the way we should have.
You talked about toughness this season. I mean, tonight was Clemson just a tougher team.
I think Clemson was clicking on both ends of the floor. I thought they were great. You know, this team hasn't been the team that gives up 96 points. Clemson hasn't been the team that scored 96 points. I think it was their night. They made shots, and you know, a lot of times when you make shots, okay, everything goes well for you. Offensively, you're making shots. Your defense becomes a little better. I think it was one of those days they saw big rim, they made shots. Early on, we didn't establish ourselves defensively, and I think that led to confidence, and they made more shots, and then obviously it didn't work out for us.
Do you think the defensive struggle sometimes translates to offense, like lack of fast break points and things like that?
Well, with us, yes, because we create opportunities off our defense. You know, we do a good job. We're a great steals team. We're a great deflection team, and when you don't, you know, we're not creating opportunities. You know, we can get stagnant on the offensive end, and you know, I hate to say it, and I told those guys, you know, we hold each other accountable for everything that we do, and we got to get back to holding each other accountable defensively. And it's been really 2 halves. It's been the Wake Forest first half, and it's been this half where we just didn't come out playing well defensively.
And Coach, with it being senior day today, and Jarkel joining here, first year with this team, obviously acclimated pretty well. Can you just talk about how much he's meant to this team and what the team has learned from him?
Jarkel's man, he's a warrior. He is a great person. He's a great human being. He's a better person, human being, than he is a basketball player. And we know, you know, what type of basketball player he is. He's an ultimate competitor. We're so glad that he would decide to come to our program and join us. He's forever a part of NC State family, even though you only get him for 1 year. But he's meant so much to us, to not just us as a coaching staff, but to Wolfpack Nation and also the guys in the locker room. And so we're going to miss him. Like, you know, I miss all my kids. I love them all. But what that young man's been able to bring to our program is really injected some energy on both ends of the floor and a positive mindset.
Burns didn't participate. Was that he just didn't want to? How did that decision?
No, we took an approach. If you were not graduating from NC State and you had a year eligibility, basically, we decided that they wasn't going to go through the senior night. Okay, had an eligibility. Dusan did not want to. He wanted to he didn't want to go through the senior night. So he's the only one, you know, obviously that we didn't put through, even though he hadn't graduated. And I know we're talking about whether he has he's out of eligibility, but you know, we'll see what happens with his injury.
You have an update on Jack Clark?
I don't. You know, there was a moment that it was a possibility for Jack to play today, and I got a text this morning from our trainer that he wouldn't be able to go, and it was so close to game time, I really didn't have a conversation to figure out, you know, what's the hold up. I know there's nothing major, but he took a nasty fall and really sore, and you know, I don't know when he's going to return. I mean, that's a tough one to come back, and you know, it could be 2 days, it could be 3 days, it could be a week. I don't know.
Keatts, this is the last time we talked to you here in PNC. How do you feel about your chances in Greensboro? Any team that you've got your eyes on?
Well, I will say this. you know, our fans have been really good, and give our players credit. You know, at the beginning of the year, it was very slow. We could say pandemic, we could say, you know, lack of winning from last year. But I think you have to look at this team and the personality of this team, and they completely turned everybody around. We went from not having a lot of people. Now, we're not the only team in the country that don't. We're still, let's make sure we understand this, we're still top 4 or 5 in the conference in attendance. So a lot of people that make a big deal about it is check the numbers and you'll see that we still got more than 10, 11 other teams in the league. That being said, our play earned it. These guys play earned it. Their personalities earned it. And so I want to thank those who, you know, took the time maybe early to look at it and just didn't turn their back and say, hey man, you know what? These guys are different. They're a good basketball team. And they showed up. And they showed up in a big way. The Carolina game was probably the loudest that I've really had. I heard it here. As far as Greensboro, I don't know. I gotta, you know, we're gonna turn our concentration into Duke on Saturday, on Tuesday, and then we'll try to figure out, you know, what's the deal, and you know, wait till other people, you know, because we don't play on Saturday, we still gotta wait and figure out where we'll be seated because other teams will play on Saturday, and then. But you're more than welcome to ask me that question in about a week or so. I don't have an answer for that.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach. Thank you.